Sui and its ecosystem are on fire. Just take a look at this clip.
I'm massively overweight Sui.
Oversold.
Massively.
Can I ask you percentages wise?
I'm definitely over 70% Sui.
Raoul Paul is massively invested in Sui. He says it's even better than Solana, which did a 1300x to its latest all-time high. Another altcoin that's making some serious noise is Ondo. Its TVL is exploding, and around May 12th, we might see some major RWA sector news that could send it much higher. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, altcoinbuzz.io, and as always, not financial advice, and wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning you guys. We are starting off the day almost at $100,000 on Bitcoin, and what led to this was kind of FOMC, but kind of not. We're going to get to that in a minute, but it's honestly strange to me that we're above this because of what happened at FOMC yesterday. But I think the bigger cause of this huge spike towards $100,000 and a break above this major level of resistance, which we've been waiting for, is really this, which most people aren't attributing it to. So we have the Kobayashi letter saying President Trump says a big news conference is happening tomorrow, which is today at 10 a.m. Eastern time, to announce a major trade deal with a highly respected country. So could this be China? Probably not so soon. It's probably, different countries, probably India, something like that. But that has also brought the market, above $100,000, because if I go through this is the FOMC meeting highlights from yesterday. And I watched through this at the time it was happening. So what happened was the Fed left rates unchanged at 4.25 to 4.5% for the third straight meeting. The key takeaways are Powell says we don't have to be in a hurry, the Fed adopting patient approach as the economic uncertainty grows. Trump's tariffs are now the central concern. Powell warned they could raise inflation, slow economic growth, and increase unemployment. So those are the things where bad news equals good news. When this happens, when inflation rises, there's slow economic growth and increase in employment, basically the Fed will have to cut in the future, which is not a good thing, but it's a good thing for Bitcoin and risk on assets, because when inflation rises, people seek assets like gold, Bitcoin, etc. Inflation timeline pushback. Powell indicated tariffs could delay inflation progress by up to a year. No pivotal signals, the Fed maintaining moderately hawkish stance despite external pressures. The rate cut timeline extended to wait-and-see mode, firmly engaged with cuts likely delayed. The Fed's independence was emphasized. Powell stressed decisions will remain data-driven regardless of political environment, and the markets reacted cautiously as hopes of summer cuts were diminished, with equities slipping and bond yields rising post-announcement. The bottom line, higher rates for longer as the Fed navigates growing economic challenges. So when this happened yesterday, it was pretty much a nothing burger. He just kind of avoided all the major questions by saying, we'll have to wait and see, everyone was asking, do you see more cuts coming? And he's like, well, we're going to have to wait and see with the data. So nothing really concretely came out yesterday from this. The only thing that you can kind of, think is that if the economy gets worse because of potential tariffs, then Bitcoin will rise. And that's really the only thing we can attribute this towards, or the fact that people just believe heavily in Bitcoin right now, and all crypto assets are following. But also we have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, which are also up. We have futures here. You can see we're up on the day on S&P and NASDAQ. So everything is up on the day, even though the Fed's outlook doesn't look as good. We also have a quick clip here of Jerome Powell from the FOMC yesterday.
We really don't see in the data yet big economic effects. We see sentiment, there are concerns that higher prices may be coming or things like that. So they're worried now about inflation. They're worried about the a shock from the tariffs, but they really haven't. That shock hasn't hit yet. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the not just the sentiment data, but also the real economic data as we assess what it is we should do. And remember, there would be two effects. One of them would be weakening economic activity, which translates into higher unemployment, and the other would be potentially higher inflation. Again, to say it again, the timing, the scope, the scale, and the persistence of those effects are very, very uncertain.
So while there's no real bullish argument to be made from the FOMC yesterday, we have Dylan here saying, bullish doesn't even begin to describe this. The global M2 money supply rose $5 trillion in a few months. However, this $5 trillion spike isn't coordinated liquidity injection from central banks worldwide like we witnessed during COVID. Amongst other things, this is China trying to rescue its real estate sector, through the bond market. How much of this liquidity will reach risk-on assets like equities or crypto? Nobody entirely knows yet. Nonetheless, this should mark a rise in stocks and crypto that lasts at least a few months, especially with the dollar index dropping and perfectly timed with a 90-day tariff pause. Assets are primed to rip. So while nothing concrete really happened at FOMC yesterday, I think people were just kind of waiting. They were selling off beforehand, and then they got back in afterwards as there's kind of tariff announcements going on this morning, and hopefully the bad news of the tariff headlines is finally over. Because if you look back here, this was around February 20th. This is when the real tariff fears started to happen. And so what happened was the tariff fears started to really take part in the news. We sold off for a couple months. And this level is one of the most important levels because not only is it the point of breakdown, but is a point at which tariff news were at like maximum fear as they begun. Now the fact that we broke above this level means that people are starting to be less fearful of tariffs, which is good. And the worst of the tariff news is most likely over and priced in. So now we can go higher. We also have a clip here from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who says digital assets are an important source of innovation. They'll drive usage of the US dollar.
And also, that digital assets are an important source of innovation that will drive that can drive usage of the US dollar around the world, as with stablecoin legislation. There is speculation that there may be up to $2 trillion of demand over the next few years for US government securities from digital assets.
So overall, it seems like we're going into a very bullish window. Now that we've broken above this level here, around $98,000, if we can hold above here, now we still need to close above this level. We need to, come above here and then reclaim this level around $98,000. We don't want to slip back below this level because that's not very bullish. But if we can close, a couple daily candles above this level, it is very bullish. I think we're going to have a very bullish summer, and it's going to be pretty exciting for Bitcoin and altcoins going ahead. Hey Americans, we found an exchange that gives you the best of both worlds. Want to trade spot markets on over 400 trading pairs, and without KYC, you can. Want to trade perpetual markets on over 150 trading pairs with KYC that accepts Americans and Canadians as well? You can. The only exchange we've seen in the market that lets you do both simple spot trading without KYC and perps trading with KYC that Americans can use is BYDFi. And they have a great new promotion going on right now where you can win a Rolex. BYDFi gives you all the tools you need and without crazy requirements. The promotion goes from now through June 6th, so you have almost a full month to take part. After you sign up for your BYDFi account or log in if you already have one, here's what you need to do. If you trade at least $1,000 worth, then you get a $35 bonus credited to your account. Prizes move up from there and include AirPods, an iPad, a new iPhone 16, a cool Louis Vuitton backpack, and finally a Rolex Submariner with a retail value of $10,000. Those are some amazing prizes for doing what you'd likely be doing anyway by trading on a tier 1 exchange like BYDFi. So if you haven't checked out BYDFi yet, now's the time to try. Just use the link down below to sign up. Don't worry about doing KYC and start trading to get your bonuses. Then moving on, we have Raoul Pal has 70% of his liquid portfolio in the Sui ecosystem. So he said this.
Definitely over 70% Sui. And that's not anything to do with the foundation that I'm on. That's my just capital allocation of my savings. And simple. It's not because I'm on the foundation and people are like, hey, he's just shilling his coin. It's because the fucking chart of Sui versus Solana broke out and Solana was the strongest horse in the race. So if another large token is outperforming Solana on like weekly charts, daily charts, significant time horizons, the chart pattern looks good and you can see the adoption and it's got a lower free float and there's large demand and there's a lot of developer activity and all of the things we talked about, then I'm forced to do that.
And then we have Joshua saying, Justin, Sui flips BNB in 24-hour volume. So Sui's getting a lot of volume. Sui also said digital collecting just leveled up. With Parasol on Sui, rare cards and items are no longer locked in boxes. They're live on-chain in your wallet and in your control. The collectibles you love reimagined for the digital age. So we have a clip here from one of the Sui co-founders.
Hey everybody, this is Adine. We're working on something absolutely massive and we believe it's going to really shift momentum in crypto. Remember when we said we want to work on projects that bring in millions, if not hundreds of millions of users to the Sui ecosystem? Well, we're doing just that. One of the things we did recently is acquire a company called Parasol. They've been working with some of the top IP producers in the gaming industry. Remember the scenario where you're younger and you were looking forward to receiving a massive booster pack of cards and hoping to get the ultra rare edition of a card? Well, imagine recreating that experience on chain with Sui. That's exactly what Parasol solves. So amazing games like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, you name it, being possible directly on chain with Sui. Parasol's working with a number of partners to bring that to the home in the hands of users. Very excited about this transformation that's going to happen. We believe this is the most game-changing piece of tech to come onto the Sui network. And ultimately, we believe it's going to shift focus onto bringing on the next billion users. Our goal is to get the 3.3 billion users that are in gaming onto Sui by the year 2030. This makes a big step forwards towards that. Very excited about this, and there's a lot more to come. Hopefully, I could share a lot more alpha as things become more in the public.
And then we have Angelo saying, a Sui Ecosystem watchlist update. It's the market leader. We have Sui, Walrus, Deep, NS, Lo-Fi, and Blue all up multiple percentages on the day and leading the charge. And then we also have the Sui Basecamp news roundup. So Sui had its Basecamp during token 2049, and a lot of news came out of it. So Sui Lend has introduced the STEM token launcher. Sui Lend is the most successful DeFi protocol on Sui, and Sui Lend's origins are in lending and borrowing. However, it now also offers a swap, a superfluid AMM with Steem, and LSTs or liquid staking tokens with Spring Sui. However, it's Steem that's now introduced a brand new token launcher. Now anybody can launch a token in the ecosystem. It's easy to use, no code flow. You can also deploy liquidity easily. Since it's integrated with Sui Lend, any idle liquidity is redeposited into Sui Lend, thus it earns an extra APR. Then we also have Fireblocks opening institutional infrastructure on Sui. So institutional interest in Sui has been growing, especially with the ETFs. However, institutions enter the blockchain environment with a TradFi background. To help them ease into the crypto sector and DeFi, Fireblocks will give a helping hand, and Fireblocks offers digital asset infrastructure for institutions. So big money coming in through Sui as well, through Fireblocks. We also have 21 shares, which is filed for Sui ETF, which we covered yesterday, which is going to bring a lot more institutional interest into Sui as well. And also the Sui Play OX1 and the G Dollar stablecoin are coming to gaming. So the Sui Play OX1 was featured at the Sui Basecamp. We saw a couple of people playing, especially Mike from Fungible Games. He was playing on the Sui Play OX1, which is going to be releasing in September. And not only are they launching their devices, but there's also a G Dollar stablecoin specifically for gaming in the gaming ecosystem. And then if we go to Sui, it is doing exactly what we thought. Look at this. It played out, to a T. It came down here, swept all this liquidity at FOMC yesterday, and then pumped like crazy. It's up almost 13% today. It broke through this level of resistance. They're at $3.64. Now I expect maybe, going into New York Open, there's probably going to be a little bit of a sell-off. We consolidate somewhere around $3.63, and then we head up to the next area of resistance around $4.07. Once we break above that level, we're probably going to new all-time highs above $5 and 28 cents very soon, especially if Bitcoin starts to break out above 100K. We're going to new all-time highs very quickly for Sui. And then moving on, we have Not Telling saying, do you guys remember all my posts about Ondo and Robinhood connections? Well, guess what? Robinhood confirmed they're developing a blockchain to allow retail investors in Europe to trade US stocks and considering Solana and Arbitrum. Ondo just partnered with Solana and has a partnership with Arbitrum as well. The official Ondo x Robinhood blockchain launch is coming soon, and when they announced it officially, Ondo is going well above all-time highs. He also just shared yesterday that Ondo's TVL just exploded from $1.118 billion up $100 million plus. Something is cooking. So Ondo has seen $100 million plus in new liquidity injected in their TVL. And then Ondo says $1 billion is big, but what we're building for is 62,000 times bigger, or $62 trillion, which is the US stock market. We also have Suj, who said this yesterday, for our token unlock, the next Ondo token unlock will happen on the 18th of January in 2026, so pretty far out. It has an Ondo chain coming very soon, along with Ondo Global Markets, to unlock tokenized US securities like stocks and ETFs. Ondo is also working with the SEC Crypto Task Force for tokenized asset framework. All these things will further boost protocol utility, and no token unlock will act as an even bigger bullish catalyst. So because we don't have a token unlock for a long period of time, and also which relates to their SEC hosting the tokenization roundtable on May 12th. So in a couple days from now, there is going to be a tokenization roundtable, which could do well for RWA tokens. So the US SEC will hold a public roundtable on May 12th to explore the future of tokenization and traditional finance. The event, titled Tokenization, Moving Assets On-Chain, where TradFi and DeFi meet, will take place at an SEC headquarters in Washington, D.C., and it will be streamed live. The session will be led by Commissioner Hester Pierce, aka Crypto Mom, and the agenda includes high-level discussions with representatives from BlackRock, Fidelity, NASDAQ, Robinhood, and Securitize, all companies which have had, connections to Ondo as well. The event follows a recent increase in the SEC's engagement with rolled asset projects. In April, tokenization firm Ondo Finance met with the SEC's Crypto Asset Working Group to present a proposed framework for tokenized securities. The group also discussed relief mechanisms to support responsible innovation, and the SEC had previously hinted at tokenization being a 2025 priority. So RWA is going to be seeing a big boost, I think, very soon, and Ondo is looking great as well. Now, it came down to this level of support. We thought it might drop below this, but actually with, Bitcoin pumping yesterday and the whole market's pumping, everything is kind of green on the day right now. The next major level I really want to see it reclaim to start getting actually bullish and buying into Ondo is above this $1 mark right now. It's a level of resistance we've seen in the past month. So if we can get above this $1 mark, I'll be a lot more bullish and looking to take positions in Ondo. But likewise, even though it's up about 6% on the day, it's not one that I'm actively looking to get in like I am Sui right now, which is showing one of the most bullish charts in the market right now. So Ondo's one that I want to see us get above this 99-cent level. Likewise, we could consolidate back down around this 82-cent level if we sell off into New York Open, if people take profits. Anything around here probably is going to be a good buy because you can set your stops below this level at 65 cents. So that is Ondo, and that is the crypto market. I think we're probably going to have a little bit of a, maybe a taking profit sell off into New York Open today. But as long as we hold above this level, anything above this level is pretty good. Anything above $97-ish thousand is pretty good. We really don't want to close any daily candles below this level here around $93,000. If we start going back down here, it is not looking good at all. So we're going to want to watch for that today. Any couple daily candles close above here, I think we're full bull mode again, and we're going back to all-time highs. So very exciting things ahead. I think we're gonna have a great summer. It's starting to look very bullish again, and that's the video for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you tomorrow.